So listen, guys, we only take sponsors for the podcast that we at Green and Sklar's actually use ourselves, all right? So the people that I talk about, the people that I allow to put their stuff on our site, this is the stuff that we use. So for instance, how is it that we get through to the IRS in under 3 minutes? I mean, we have too many cases. I cannot have my staff on hold for hours on end trying to get through. We use Call ENQ. They guarantee you will get in under 3 minutes. I can assure you, usually it is under a minute. You call up, you will get right through. And I'm not joking, when we sat after using it for about 2 months and figured out we were going to cut somewhere around $50,000 to $60,000 of billable time off simply by using Call ENQ. And remember, because we do so much of this as a flat fee, that is money and time that falls right to the bottom line. All right, we've arranged with Call ENQ a trial for all of you, 200 minutes for $19.97. Go check it out. I'm telling you, it will literally change the way you interact with the IRS, and you will actually boost your bottom line. How do we manage our resolution practice? Tax Help software. All right, Tax Help software. It does a lot of things. One is this is how we get our transcripts, right? So we get all of the transcripts, we get that beautiful report it puts together, wage and earning, we get it all in one fell swoop. This is how we do our 433s and our offers and compromise, right? All of our forms get filled out, it applies all the standards, does all the attached schedules, everything. But the biggest thing about Tax Help software you may not realize is that because of intelligent ordering that runs every night while we're at home doing whatever, in the morning, we are alerted to everything that changes on our clients' transcripts. For instance, this morning, I actually know one of my clients' offers have been accepted. I haven't even gotten the letter yet. The client hasn't gotten the letter yet, but it showed up on the transcript. A week ago, I told the client they're getting audited. Why? It was flagged in the transcript. All right. Tax Help software will become the cornerstone of your practice. Okay, we've arranged, again, a free 2-week trial for our members, all right, and a 10% discount. Go check out Tax Help software. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. Lastly, how is it that we manage 21 people? You know, Jeff and I started Green and Sklar's 5.5 years ago with a part-time admin. We're 21 people today. How do we keep track of the receipts and everything else? Because we're constantly on the road, constantly speaking. We have other partners who are constantly traveling. We use Receipt Bank. All right, take a photo. One, that expense gets booked automatically, saving our controller time. Two, the copy of that receipt is now permanently attached in our QuickBooks file. All right, we haven't just this is how you bulletproof your return and how your clients bulletproof the return. This way, if I lose the receipt, I eat it, I burn it, it doesn't matter. It fades, you know, that magnetic ink fades. You have that picture forever. And a picture in this case is worth 1,000 words or possibly a lot more money and heartache. All right, so go check out Receipt Bank, keep building your practices, all right, and enjoy the podcast. Hey everybody, it is Eric Green. I know it's been a few weeks since we've done a podcast. I was actually traveling. I spoke at the American Bar Association tax sections, Tax Controversy and Tax Fraud Institute. And what I thought I would do is update all of you on what we can expect in IRS enforcement in 2020. All right, and so there's a lot going on. Right, there really is a lot going on. So a couple things. One, Chuck Reddick, our commissioner, was there and spoke. Eric Hilton, who took over as SBSE commissioner, was there. And what's interesting, I mean, there are a lot of people there, but what's interesting about the fact that Eric Hilton has taken over as SBSE commissioner is, if you don't know Commissioner Hilton, prior to taking over at SBSE, he was the deputy chief of IRS criminal investigation. So what the message is to those of us who know him, and the message that he actually gave, is that IRS Enforcement is back with a capital E. They are going to be ramping up and going after taxpayers with far greater force and with a larger field force than before. They are hiring in criminal, they are hiring in civil. So one, if anyone's looking for a job, go out to USA Jobs and the IRS is hiring, all right, if you're interested. But there are a couple of things that we should be looking for, and some of this has already been out in the public. So they're looking at doing more what they're calling compliance sweeps. And what this is the IRS is going to go out to areas where there really isn't much IRS coverage. And they're going to take revenue officers and revenue agents, and they're going to camp out for periods at a time, and start knocking on doors, visiting businesses that are behind in payroll taxes, kind of sending the message that the IRS is in fact watching and is going to go after these folks, right? The other thing they talked about is they're making much greater use of data analytics. All of the information that they have that they can extract, it gives them much better chance of identifying non-filers, bad tax preparers, payroll tax issues, payroll tax scofflaws, undocumented worker issues, all of this information, because right now there are more. I mean, and I've been preaching this. There is no better time ever to begin building a representation practice. What are my backup on that? Well, we have more than 15 million, actually it's just under 15 million taxpayers in the collection division inventory. There are more than 7 million non-filers that the government knows about. They already know about these people and that they're going after. Add to that the shrinking market for 1040 preparation. I don't think 1040 prep will ever go away completely, but if your business model is banging out 1040s like an H&R Block or a Jackson Hewitt, that is not a good long-term business solution. The automation of return prep, the automation of bookkeeping, I think is going to make a lot of that go away. The increased standard deduction, fewer people filing schedules A and B. I think overall, now if you're an EA or CPA, now is the time to actually get to building your practice. If you're not a CPA or EA, but an unenrolled preparer, go and get your EA. Spend the time, invest the time and energy and the effort, and go and get your EA done. All right, because you can't be on a 2848 if you're not an EA, a CPA, or an attorney. All right, so rather than sitting around doing cheap 1040s, why don't you get your EA and actually start billing $300, $400, $500 an hour doing IRS representation? All right, what else can we look for from the IRS? Well, they're going to be, and if you're following them on social media, if you're not, a couple things you should do. If you're not connected to them, go out and connect with them on LinkedIn and Facebook, because they're putting out announcements now with much greater frequency. That gives you fodder for your marketing. When an interesting item comes down from the government, we're out blogging about it. We're out email blasting about it. I'm talking about it here on the podcast. That is good marketing stuff. The other thing you should do, if you haven't already, is go to the Department of Justice. You can sign up for their news releases based on division. You want to sign up with tax division, and you will find out all kinds of interesting things. I just found out about an accountant in Connecticut that's being indicted. So, you'll get the if not daily, you'll get the news releases from them. And again, one is it's good fodder for your marketing, but more than that, it also keeps you up to date on what the government is doing. Well, what the IRS is saying is they're going to be doing a lot more publicizing of what it is that they've got going on. So there really is no reason that you should not be able to stay up on this. You don't have to pay a lot of money to get some sort of news feed. A lot of this is already being put out in the public space for free. Right? Couple other things. Obviously, the 15 million in collection are a priority. The 7 million non-filers are a real priority. They're going to continue going after conservation easements and micro captives. These are estate and business planning moves that really are open to abuse. I'll be quick. What a micro captive is In fact, we should do a podcast just on that. But what a micro captive is where you set up a captive insurance company and you're paying the insurance company instead of some third party. Um, and this is perfectly legitimate. The problem becomes, well, what are you going to pay? Well, as you can imagine, if I set up a micro captive and my children own it, don't I want to overpay? I can begin shifting my income and wealth to my children and take a tax deduction for it, right? So what the government is looking at is the abuse of these things. How much are you paying for insurance above and beyond what commercial rates would be? Are there ever any claims? All right. So this has been a hot item now for a couple of years. They are continuing to pursue this. And what I'm hearing, we can expect to start seeing the first criminal cases come down in micro captives, the first criminal cases come down in conservation easements. You're going to see a lot more of that. All right. And as I mentioned, criminal investigation, once again, more than 91% conviction rate. Right, so that has stayed steady since the moment they opened their doors back in, I think it's 1916. The IRS has never had a less than 90% conviction rate on those cases they send for prosecution that go to trial. All right, and again, if you're interested, criminal investigation is hiring. Right, civil is hiring, both IRS Office of Chief Counsel, examiners, revenue officers, appeals officers. So if you are interested in that, do that. If you are interested in adding this to your practice, all right, the second edition of the books, My Accountant's Guide to IRS Collection, is out. My Accountant's Guide to Resolving Tax Debts are now updated with new case studies. They are out. You can go to tgpublish.com and get those. If you want to build your practice in 2020, add another 100,000 to your bottom line, come join us in Tax Rep LLC. We'd love to have you. Go to taxrepllc.com and come on in, give it a try. There's no contract. It is month to month. You can quit anytime. But I think this is the year you should really launch your practice and take advantage of the wave of work that's going to be coming. All right. Thanks for joining me. I will probably drop the next podcast just after the holidays. So everyone have a safe and healthy holiday season and new year. And I'll check in with you then. Thank you. Bye-bye.